Where do you think that comes from? Is it just...
Well, I suppose it comes from my mom. I mean, she's pretty creative. She makes all her own stuff and Christmas ornaments, and she made wedding cakes in my town when I was growing up. She was the cake maker. So, and she, you know, I often joke about how she would spread, you know, the frosting around with a knife, and that's exactly what I do on the canvas. I always feel a certain Van Gogh kinship up there somewhere, and I think that knowing that he was able to become as popular as he did, or he was able to use the colors. I mean, how did he ever come up with those colors? You know, so I realized that he was looking at a lot of Japanese prints and things like that. And so I've got a book here of Japanese prints that I look at, and it just helps me, you know. So this first painting was a boat painting at first, and it went this way, and this is the boat right here. When I decided to paint over this boat painting, instead of taking the boat and painting over the boat, I left the boat there, and I tipped it this way, and it just became a flower painting thing. But you can see that this is where the boat was. The mast was here, the boat. So the same with the trees, moving on to the trees, which really are the only things I haven't painted over, except for the red sky on this one. I did paint over the... I was using this color red, and I loved it so much, and I didn't want to have to throw it away by it drying up on me, so I just took this painting off the wall and made the sky red. So now this is called Tree with Red Sky. I would probably always prefer to put one image in the painting, but if it's a large painting, if it's a larger painting, it just works better with two images. But I try to put them close enough together so that they almost are one image.
When you work, do you work in a series, or do you work with just one, or do you have a method?
I think it's both. I tend to work with whatever's on my palette. So if I'm working with red, I'll just keep working with it until I'm done with red. And sometimes they end up being similar paintings. So the reason I want to keep this painting is because it's just one of those paintings that I think has a master quality to it that I couldn't repeat if you paid me $1 million.
It's almost like...
Because I've tried to, and I'm like, no. It all becomes contrived. And this one just somehow turned out to be exactly what I wanted.
You nailed it.
Yeah. And sometimes when I'm painting over something, and if it's not working, and then I end up having to paint over more of the underpainting than I intended to, it makes me a little sad, I have to admit.
Right.
And then I end up doing a lot of scraping and trying to get it back again. But the relationship between my palette knife and the painting itself, they have a friendship of their own. It almost has nothing to do with me. Somebody once asked me, how do I know when the painting is finished? And then my answer was, when there are no intuitions left.